All right, set up. Cool. All right. So today I'm gonna so today all right, so today I'm going to do some studying for some uh, Instagram and social media stuff and TikTok. I'm an artist, so I'm trying to figure out how to best um, market my artwork, and it's kind of I feel like some of these lessons can obviously be traverse industries and different brands and stuff like that. So it's not just exclusive to artists, but I'm I'm doing something for specifically myself. And if you see this later, you guys can kind of piggyback and see kind of the notes and stuff and figure out some key insights that can help you building your own social media following. Right, I'm gonna take some notes right here with this book pen. Always best to have that ready to write some important information, do some YouTube videos and do some research and stuff like that. So let's get into it. Right now, I've seen this first video right here. I already watched the first few minutes. Aren't too important, but let's get into this and kind of learn a bit more. And with informations or some insights, I'm going to stop talking and stop this videos and start talking and stuff like that. So let's get into it.
All right, so now you know it's important to get eyes. So let's talk about how do you get those eyes, okay? Because that is what you're here for. So in social media, this happened 6 years ago when I actually started doing social media. There was a step-by-step process for me to create a YouTube channel. First of all, I had to learn how to create valuable content. Then I had to create that content, which is a job by itself. And then I had to persevere with it to be able to see any type of results. Now, this took me 6 years, or it has been 6 years since I started. But to see results,
And that's the thing, like, we all start from different points and different knowledge about how to make stuff like this work. But it's all about getting started. And you won't know what's going to work and what's not going to work for you, because some type of content might work for somebody else, and then when you try it, it's just maybe your personality isn't right, maybe you just don't even like doing it. So it's very important to just start and kind of take some swings at bat, because the more at bats you have, the better chances you have of hitting a home run. If you just try and prepare for that one pitch, you might whiff, and you prepared and took time and all that just for nothing. So it's always important, always very important to just learn more and try, even if you fail.
significant results, it took me 3 years, okay? So that is just for you to know a little bit of a timeline. But you know what is interesting? It is exactly the same if you're looking for a job, because before I tried to do social media, I was looking for a job as a concept artist. I wanted to be a concept artist in a game company, and I was looking for a job, a 9-to-5 job in a company. And guess what? The process is really similar. I had to create a very nice looking, very good looking portfolio that showcased my skills, and that is the equivalent of, creating content that attracts the right people. I had to go to an art conference where I would find studios that potentially would hire me, and that is the equivalent of posting that content places so that people can see that portfolio or see your content. And I had to get into interviews. That is the equivalent of talking one-on-one with potential clients. It's literally that. You're trying to sell yourself as a product, and you get in interviews with studios that potentially would hire you. So what is this? Well, this is eyes. It's getting in front of the right eyes. Posting your content in social media is looking for eyes. Going to conferences and showing your portfolio is getting in front of eyes. And your task, if you want to monetize your knowledge, your skills is looking for the right eyes. Now, this is not the only way for you to get eyes. I wanted to mention that there are many ways, an infinite amount of ways, and I wanted to share just a couple of them with you here so that you go out of this video with some idea on what to do to get those eyes. Simple enough, you can cold email or DM people. Let's say that you're doing commissions and you want to get...
And that's this cold emailing and DMing people. I've done that a ton, and I've got paintings commissioned by me from just cold outreach. And so it works. I know it works. It works in sales. It works in a lot of businesses. People don't know you. So sometimes you have to spend time just reaching out. Be like, this is who I am. This is what I do. If you're interested, reach out to me. Yeah. And then when you do good work, then you have social proof, and then you can show that, you know, your customers are satisfied, and then people start reaching out to you.
Clients for your commissions. Well, you simply cold email or DM or actually go to the door of the business that you want to serve, and you knocked on their door and you tell them like, hey, I can make a commission for you. I can make a mural for your business. That is one thing. You can pay for ads. Let's say that you put your portfolio in a magazine, or you put your service in a magazine that is on a specific niche that could hire you, that is paying for ads. Or you can just literally pay for ads, I don't know, on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. You pay for eyes. Or maybe you are an artist that wants to get into book covers. You can hire an agent that will take a commission of every task that they get you, and this agent is gonna get your work in front of the right eyes. So I
never tried an agent. I don't know if that's viable. Obviously, for bigger artists, it's very important to have an agent, for the most part. But I'm not sure for people that are beginning if how agents would work.
By now have established that it is super important that you need to get in front of the right eyes, okay? I know that a lot of you want to learn about social media, but this is not the video for you. If you want to know like in-depth knowledge about social media, I'm not an expert, but I have learned a ton about it in the past 6 years since I started doing it.
Alright guys, this is the wrong video. No, I'm joking. I think there's still good information to be held here since I'm an artist, so this is very important to me. But maybe we'll check out a social media video.
So if you want to learn, if you want me to share my whatever I have learned about social media, just comment down the word social right here in the YouTube comments, and I will know that you're interested in watching a video like that. Okay, so let's go to step number 2. Decide what you're selling. Now, if I look back at this should have been step 1. First, you decide what you need to sell or what you want to sell, and then you decide who your client is, right?
So that's for most things. If you are, you know, a baker, if you're doing jewelry, if you're selling, you know, custom nails, that's this is something that you probably should listen to as well.
But I am telling it to you in the order in which I realized these things throughout the process. So for me, this was step 2. So don't feel bad if you do this in not the right order, okay? So I kind of hinted at this before, but generally you have 2 categories of things that you can monetize. One is products, like that pack of stickers that I showed you before, and the other one is services, like that guy that wants to be a concept artist. Now, the line between these 2 is a little bit blurry, so you don't have to pay attention too much to it, but it is important for you to know what type of things you can offer. It gives you an idea of the range of things that you can offer and monetize. Generally, products are going to be things, either physical or digital, that you can offer, the person buys and takes away and runs with it. And services is when you're hiring somebody for their time. So you're buying somebody's time. Here are some ideas, for example, things that I could do as a digital artist to monetize my knowledge as a product. I could create original products or original pieces, like, for example, if I am a digital artist, I could sell NFTs. I could do customized stuff. Maybe I can paint on a sneaker and then I sell this customized sneaker as a product. Maybe I can do stationery, which is just printing my art on notebooks, on magazines, on whatever it is. I can sell art merch, like for example, just doing literal prints of my art and selling those. I can do wearable art, print my art on hats, on t-shirts, on hoodies and sell those. Or I can even do licensing, and that is selling the rights for people to use my illustrations for something. These are just, 6 things from the top of my head, and there are a million other things that you can do. Services, here are some examples. You can do workshops for people. Like if you're a painter, you can go and do a workshop on the local mall, the local whatever it is, and teach people how to do it. You can do live painting for events. People pay for those things. You can do consulting for brands. If you are, for example, really good with graphic design, you can consult them in the look and the feel of their brand. You can literally just get a job, a 9 to 5. That is a service. You can get a commission just selling individual pieces of art, or you can do mentoring and maybe teach people one-on-one how to do whatever you do. And again, just a few examples. There are a million other ways of monetizing either products or services. Products is better or services the next step, but for me, I prefer no products is better or service more in the next step, but just doing something and the income that I get from that. So that is why I personally like products, but you don't have to like them. You can do services and be very happy.
Products are something that you can make money while you're sleeping. Services and maximize your hourly rate, pretty much.
With that said, the rest of the presentation is going to focus a little bit more on products because that is what I do mainly, okay? So let's go and talk about that. Here is how to decide what to offer. Maybe you are a sculptor, maybe you're a dancer, and you're trying to think like, okay, I now know that I need some eyes and that I need something that I need to offer, some service or some product, but I don't know what I want to offer, okay? So hopefully these little 3 circles are gonna help you decide. First, you're gonna find what do you enjoy doing, okay? Whatever it is, maybe you enjoy mentoring and teaching other people, or maybe you enjoy, I don't know, creating some specific product that you put a lot of love into it and then asking for. Now, they don't have to ask you directly if you don't have a presence in social media or if you don't have, but other people with your skill set are already selling. For example, if you see that dancers often teach people how to dance, you see, okay, so that is something that people are asking for. It is a viable business. There is demand for it. And 3, this is where, a lot of people get stuck at, is you have to be good at it, obviously. Whatever you want to offer, you gotta be decent at it because otherwise people are not gonna buy from you. Okay? So with those 3 things here, right there in the center, you're gonna find something that is a very good idea for you to offer. Now, I'm gonna share with you in what happened in my case when I started doing social media, because it might help you to see how I went. What happened that is
I feel like what you enjoy and what you are good at are kind of similar. Unless you enjoy stuff that you're horrible at. But if you enjoy it, then I feel like you would eventually get good at it. I could be wrong, but I feel like those bottom 2 bowls are very similar. But the very important one is what people ask for. Doesn't matter like what you're good at, what you're creating or what you're doing. If people aren't asking for it, you're gonna have a tough time selling it. But at the same time, if nobody's asking for it, you can also create the demand. That means there's nobody selling that particular product. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to take a leap of faith and going to something that you don't know if there's any social proof, if you don't know if somebody's done it before, because a lot of times you can create that blue ocean for yourself, be that one person selling that product. Like, those t-shirts where, you could put your significant other's picture face on the t-shirt and like, a bunch of the pictures and have it look kind of like vintage style. Like nobody really asked for that, but somebody made it, and now their business is blown up. And I've seen people rock that t-shirt, and now I think they're doing pets as well, or somebody else is doing pets from the same idea. So that's something that you can look in, you can try. Like I said, if you don't try, then you don't know if it's going to work. So if you have the time and you have some money to spend, try it, put some ads behind it, see if it's a viable product, see if people are receptive to it, because you never know what can really happen.
very good idea for you to offer. Now, I'm gonna share with you in what happened in my case when I started doing social media, because it might help you to see how I went about it. So the first thing is I thought about what I wanted to do. And please mind that I started doing social media before I realized what I wanted to sell. I just knew that I wanted to have a platform where I would be able to sell something. And I knew that I wanted to separate my income from my time. So I suspected that I was gonna do a product and I was gonna sell that product. Okay? So that was step number one. Then I started making videos and talking about art. I was just sharing things that I knew about art. And what happened? Well, a lot of my subscribers started asking for my brushes. They saw me making some paintings and they were telling me, what brushes are you using? Are you selling your brushes? Where are your brushes? And it was video after video, comment after comment asking me for my brushes. So I thought, okay, there is demand. People want my brushes, right? And of course I saw many other digital artists that were selling their brushes, so I thought, okay, it is a viable business. And then I decided I'm gonna make a free pack of brushes and release it to the world. You know, people are asking me, I'm gonna just share them with people. And what happened? People love those brushes. So I realized I am decent, at least, at making brushes. So there you go, something that I liked.
This is a very B2B product, because you're selling to other artists that want to create stuff that eventually probably want to sell it as well. Nice.
Something that people wanted and something that I was decent at doing. There you go. That is how I found that what I wanted to do, the thing that I was going to be offering mainly, was digital brushes. And that is the main thing that I did and the thing that brought me that revenue last year. Let's go to step number 3. Where to sell your stuff. Now you know 2 very important things. That you need eyes or attention to sell your stuff, to monetize your knowledge.
So he's going to say platforms. I'm going to call it already. He's going to say platforms that already have the eyes. And then you can just put your product onto those websites to sell. Or you can create your own social media and build your own audience and build your own eyes and then sell it on there. And obviously the platforms are going to take a cut because they're bringing the attention to you.
And second, then you need to offer a quality service or product to be able to monetize it, right? Very simple. Now, you just have the task of connecting both things and be able to sell them somewhere. In the past, it was not complicated, all right? You wanted to sell ceramics because you were a sculptor, you had a store to sell your ceramics. But now, we don't have just the real world, we have also that digital world. And if you're anything like me, we spend a lot of time in that digital world, even more time than what we spend in the real world. So now we need 2 stores. We need digital world. The one, first of all, is much cheaper. Second, COVID or are gonna I have that said, here is what I recommend, because I know that a lot of you, if you're anything like me, you're not the most tech oriented people. So here's what I recommend for you to have in your online store as a minimum. First, you want it to be customizable. If you are an artist, if you are a creative of any kind, you are going to pay special importance on having a brand or a feeling for your store. So you want the store that you have to be customizable. Second, and this is super essential, you need to have some type of email marketing. This is nothing fancy, but a lot of stores don't have it. And that is a way for you to collect emails from potential clients or customers and a way to message those people later on. So essential for you to have email marketing. And of course, if you're gonna sell a product, you need a way to sell those things. So you need a platform that allows you to create a store for selling digital products and hopefully also physical products. There are many options out there for places that you can use as a store, but there are not many out there that I would recommend. So that is why I am extremely happy that the people of Sellfy reached out to me to create a bunch of different and also even goes for people to look some photos, which started with 14 days Sellfy. You got eyes on your product or service or offer, and you have an amazing store where you can host all of these things. So if you are anything like me, this is what you expect would happen, right? You have customers just coming in and buying from your store, and your computer is just printing money and you're sending orders all over the world, right? But unfortunately, that is not true for most people. It can be for you, but most of the people are gonna find something that is a little bit more like this, okay? It is hard to get a business going, and even if you have all the right pieces in place, it might not be enough for your business to get going. Okay, so that is where the amazing world of marketing comes in. And I know marketing is not the sexiest thing, especially for artists, but believe me, you'll learn to love it at some point. It is a skill by itself, a science by itself, and even though a lot of times it can be hard to do, it pays off. So let me tell you a little bit about my case, because maybe you will know exactly what it takes for me to be able to market my own products, okay? It is a lot of hard work. I have to create products that are good quality.
That's something that people don't realize. It's fucking hard work being an artist like this. Because, yeah, well, mostly everything's hard work, actually. It's just hard work in general.
For my audience, I personally, what I sell is digital painting brushes for artists. So the work doesn't end after I create one single product. I have to create another one and improve on the ones that I already created before. And I have to do content that attracts the right eyes. In my case, I create educational content for digital artists so that they watch my content and I provide them with value so that they learn something. And on top of that, I say like, hey, and by the way, I sell my digital brushes. So if you like my painting, how it looks, how it feels, how it behaves in here, you can get my brushes there in the link in the description or in my bio or whatever it is. But the work doesn't end after creating a piece of content. I have to create content almost on a daily basis and post it to 4 or 5 different social medias. So it is a lot of work, but that is what it takes to make sure that your products, your services get in front of the right eyes in the right amount of volume, because it takes a lot of eyes looking at your stuff to be able to monetize it and make it a business. So I don't want to overwhelm you. I know that sounds like a lot of hard work. So I have a couple of tips to make this marketing thing easier.
That's the thing, right? So he's smart how he's doing this. He has a YouTube channel teaching other artists how to create certain types of artwork, and he looks at trends, see what's trending, see what people are trying, searching in his niche, and then he's creating good videos around it. I'm not sure if like how good the videos are, but obviously he has 375,000 subscribers. He's doing something good for his community, and so he creates the content to videos that teach them what they want to learn, and then he pushes his brushes either maybe in the videos or just says link in bio, or he shows them how to use his certain brushes to his digital product. And digital projects are fucking king because there's like literally no overhead. It's just once you create it and implement it into your site, you could sell either one or sell 1,000, and it's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be the same cost. So he's that's good how he's doing that.
A lot of hard work. So I have a couple of tips to make this marketing thing easier. Social medias. So it is a lot of work, but versus getting eyes looking at your stuff sounds like a lot for you, especially if you're an artist, because we tend to be a little bit shy when it comes to getting in front of the world and showing our stuff. So I have 3 tips for you. Number 1, super important, maybe the most important thing, is you have to be proud of what you offer, okay? Believe me, this is the death of your product, of your service, if you are not proud of what you offer. It is hard enough to go in front of the world and say to people like, hey, here are my brushes, buy them, they are amazing. It is hard enough as it is. If you are not proud of your stuff, you are gonna go to the world with a completely different attitude. You're gonna go like, hey, by the way, maybe I also teach some classes and maybe you're interested. And it is not the right attitude. It's gonna be so much harder for you to put yourself and put your product in front of the world if you're not happy with what you created. So it is worth it for you to develop a product that you're extremely proud of so that you can go in front of the world and scream it and say it as loud as you want. I have brushes, I have classes, I have something, and they are amazing. They are the best out there. Number 2, show your creative process. Invite people to your creative process. This is something that I learned a little bit late in the game, because at the start I thought that I had to create a painting to be able to post a painting, to be able to say in the caption, hey, by the way, here are some brushes if you want to get them. Now I realize that People enjoy being invited to my creative process. That means they enjoy seeing my work in progress.
People like seeing how the sausage is made. People feel like they're on the inside. And so once they see your creative process or see any part of the process, they feel like they know the product more. I've seen this guy Envision. He shows the packaging of the product, and you could see the time and dedication he puts into packaging. Like he folds up the clothing really nice. He even sprays it with a little perfume, puts a little card in there, puts some stickers in the packaging, puts in like some poly bag, and then the box. He creates hand drawn artwork for each box, and it's amazing artwork. I love it. And so he creates the unique artwork for the box, puts everything inside, and then he has this like really cool design sticker that he puts all over the box to kind of seal it. So, and then that's his content. That's literally everything he does, is just showing, like, he shows some of the process of the stuff getting made and some, other stuff, but I think that's his bread and butter, is the packaging videos. So yeah, so like once you start creating your artwork or creating your content for whatever it is, whatever product that you do, there's always a percentage that you have to figure out. Okay, this is, at first you won't know what's going to work for you, and so you just keep doing things until one video hits, and then you try to recreate that format in a different way. Like his packaging videos, he probably found one packaging video that blew up. He's like, okay, people like this. Then he started creating more packaging videos, but for maybe a different shirt or different artwork on the box or different stuff that he puts in, or maybe he just did the same thing but just filmed it from a different direction or whatever. Obviously, you're not going to repost the same video, but you start making little tweaks and you start refining that format of video, and then those keep blowing up, those keep blowing up, and in the meantime, you experiment with smaller, different types of videos, and you're gonna have your main format that's like 80% or 60% of your content that people recognize you by, and then you're gonna have that 20-40% where you start doing little different things, and then hopefully one of those blow up, and then you go like, okay, now I'm gonna do more of these. And obviously once you have a couple of those videos blow up and you get some money coming in, then you can hire editors or even have people to help you film, to take off that burden of the time investment and start making it about a leverage. Because once you start paying people for it, then you buy your time back to be able to invest more time into your creative process, into into your creative process and into different content and stuff like that. So that's something that's very important.
They enjoy seeing me just prepare the material that I'm gonna share afterwards. They enjoy seeing carousels and reels and me talking over things, and they enjoy reading a newsletter about it. People are different and they enjoy different ways of consuming the content. So don't be afraid of just opening your creative process for whatever you do and inviting people in. You might be surprised how much easier it is to market your things when you just open the doors to whatever you're doing. And the third one, and well, maybe this is the most important of all of them, is just have patience, okay? This takes time, but the results, if you don't give up, are going to come. So just sit down, believe in what you create, and persevere. Create more content, go to more conferences, and believe me, it's gonna get there. And now
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't have, was patience. I created like the sick video. I spent a lot of time on it. I thought it was gonna blow up, and maybe a couple thousand views. And I was like, damn. And I kept refreshing, throughout the day. I refreshed 4 or 5 times throughout the day just to see if, maybe it popped now, maybe it popped now, maybe it popped now. And maybe if I just reposted it, maybe it will do better. But yeah, it's important to have patience, because you just got to trust the process. And especially at the beginning, you don't have anything. So it's like the algorithms themselves don't trust you fully. So they're gonna push your content a little bit, and if it's not received properly, then it won't reach as far. But it's all about, like I said, taking the swings, having patience to make sure that just even having a few likes is a good step in the right direction. Yeah. See, I'm streaming right now to fucking 0 people. So this is just something that I know I will do because I can create content from it. I can just get better at talking to the camera. I'm learning in the process. Like, I'm literally studying right now, and something I would do normally, even if I didn't have a camera in front of me, I wasn't recording it. So it's like, it's literally hitting 3 birds with 1 stone. Like, I'm learning, I'm creating content, and I'm practicing speaking to the camera. Because throughout my day, I don't speak outwardly enough, and so this is good practice for me.
Create more content, go to more conferences, and believe me, it's gonna get there. And now let's talk about step number 5. And this one is what's happening right now in my life. Okay, so that's step 5 is right here. It is the truth about when it happens. This when it happens is very personal. You know, you might decide that your goal is to have, to make $1 million per month doing whatever you're doing. For me, it has been a little bit of a gradual process. And I feel like if I would see this little diagram again and I would talk to this 22-year-old version of myself and I would describe what I do. I describe that I create content, that I wake up and paint whatever I want, and then I just talk about it, that I get to work as an art director part-time for a game studio, all of the things that I get to do right now. That 22-year-old version of myself would have just jumped with happiness and said that that is the dream life, that is the biggest objective that this 20-year-old version of myself had was living the life that I am living right now. But unfortunately, it is not all rainbows and roses when you actually get to do the thing that you set yourself to do from the start. And there are some things that you gotta know about this process and what happens. This one is wearing multiple hats. This is something that if you start doing your business, you will find it very, very soon, very fast in the process. And here's what happens. You know how companies have a legal department and an HR department, and they have accounting and they have marketing and they have everything. When you start yourself as a business, doesn't matter if you're creating a product or a service, you are the company. That means that you, the artist, the creative, if you like dancing, if you like painting, if you like teaching, whatever it is that you like to do, you are going to become not only the person that fulfills that product or service, but everything else also. You become the marketer, you become the accountant, you become all the jobs that make that company work. And a lot of times it can be extremely tough to do this. It has happened to me so many times that I wake up and I know that for the whole day I'm gonna be doing content or doing marketing or doing accounting. And believe me, after 8 hours of going through an Excel sheet and making numbers, I do not feel like an artist, and it doesn't feel like a dream job, because the business demands different things from you than what you actually want to do. It is important that you know that you're gonna have to develop different skills for you to make that business work, and that is the reality of it.
That's very true. People forget sometimes, if you're pursuing art this way and selling products or selling some commissions or services, stuff like that, you are a business. A lot of people forget that. And you have to treat yourself like a business. And when you deal with customers and clients, like, they expect to be treated like customers and clients, not just as your buddy. So you have to, like he said, wear multiple hats, do multiple things. And like, yeah, a lot of people just don't like doing content creation. I know a lot of artists that just hate the creative process of creating content, but it's necessary, especially nowadays. It's very necessary. And once you get some sort of income to a certain point, then you can start paying people to help you create that content, where it's like you're just focused on your creative process for your artwork or product or whatever, and you can pay somebody to help you with the content. Maybe all you do is film it and you send them to edit it, or you pay somebody locally to come help you film, or even just like, you know, having contracts ready if you're doing murals and stuff like that. Yeah, and like I said, even the cold outreach, that's a big part of it too at the beginning. So you definitely have to learn to be a little business savvy and understand that being an artist doesn't mean always creating artwork. It's a lot of the little stuff that's going to add up to make it make your business a lot more viable.
Eventually, at some point, you're going to be able to start hiring other people to help you with
There you
these
go.
things that you're not very good at or that you don't like doing. And that is going to be good. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but you're going to have to go through the process of doing certain things that are maybe not very comfortable for you. Second, and this one is obvious, but I wanted to just tell you guys that it requires sacrifice, okay? Building a business, a solopreneur business, selling a product, trying to live of something that you do with your own two hands requires a ton of sacrifice. It is a very lonely job because it's gonna be a lot of time just you doing whatever you want to create. You're gonna have to neglect a lot of other parts of your life. Hopefully not, but it is what happened to me. I had to neglect relationships, I had to neglect friends, I had to neglect health and a lot of different things to be able to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. It doesn't have to be you if you live a balanced life and if you measure your goals and act appropriately. But it happened to me and I hope that it doesn't happen to you, okay? It will require some sacrifice. There is no escape, but I hope that telling you that this is a risk helps you to balance it a little bit better than what I have done. And number 3, it is absolutely worth it, okay? I wanted to finish with a positive note and tell you that if you have the goal of living off your passion, of doing something that you love every single day, instead of going to that 9 to 5 that you hate, you can do it. It is absolutely possible. I hope that these steps help you to accomplish that, and that once you get there, it is absolutely worth it, okay? Don't be afraid of all of these negative things or all the hard work that it will require. It is worth it. Pursue it, and I hope that this video helps you accomplishing it.
Dope video, dope video. Very valuable information. Okay, let's go to the next one. Make art out of curiosity, not fear. David Cho.
A lot of you...
This guy's a very polarizing artist. A lot of people like him because he's just very free with his artwork. But a lot of people don't like him because his artwork is maybe not their cup of tea. But one thing for sure is that he's successful in what he's done. And he does what the fuck he wants to do. And so let's take a look at
When I
this
say a
video.
lot of you, I mean 6 of you have been like, what's up with the hat, Dave? You look like a Los Angeles hipster. Well, let's not get it twisted. I am a Los Angeles hipster. I'm from LA, and you don't get hipper than this, okay? And I've shocked and surprised a lot of my family members and close friends lately by becoming a YouTuber. Now, it wasn't always my dream to be a vlogger, Instagrammer, YouTuber, influencer, but here we are. A lot of you know me as David Cho. Some of you know me from Beef. Some of you know me from Thumbs Up, but you can forget all that.
Very underrated. Thumbs Up was fucking amazing. That's, if you haven't watched Thumbs Up, watch Thumbs Up. It's just him traveling across the country. I've seen the one about the US, but I don't know if he does multiple across the country stuff. And is the way he tells the story, the way he videos it, it's just...
When I put this hat on, this hat right here, when I put this hat on.
And a lot of people don't know, David Cho got his big break, well, big monetary break, because he created artwork for the Facebook offices before they went public, and in exchange for the artwork, I don't know if it was Zuckerberg or somebody else, but they offered him stocks instead of payment, which he took, and that turned into, like, I don't know, I think a couple tens of millions of dollars, or maybe up to $100 million. I'm not sure about the price, but that's how he got his big break initially. And then he was able to just kind of live free, because once you have your basic needs met, then you can start actually living free. You know, a lot of artists and a lot of people, they compromise some of their values and beliefs because they need to pay the bills, and that's understandable. And it's like they'll do stuff they don't like to do, but just keep persisting at it. And you know, like he said, like one day you'll get your break.
I'm non-profit. Did you say non-profit, like the charity? Yeah, I guess maybe a little charitable, but non-profit is spelled G-N-O-N-G. The G's are silent. And profit, you mean like P-R-O-F-I-T? No, with a P-H. P-R-O-P-H-E-T-T. 2 T's. And so I've been getting the calls. Hey, Dave, you're a YouTuber? You teach art now? You're like art instructional videos? No, I'm not. But when this hat goes on, when it gets screwed on, when this is on, I'm non-profit, and I'm super, super, super sketchy. Well, what does that mean? Well, here's a bag of crayons, right? And I found this broken one on the floor. Here's white. What are you gonna do right now? What are you gonna do right now? Well, I'm gonna start drawing stuff, and you're not even gonna know what I'm drawing because it's with a white crayon. It's invisible, right? I don't know how many of you out there have brothers and sisters. I got 2. I'm the middle child in that sandwich. I got Jimmy and Paul, and you might not believe this, but I was super shy as a kid. I didn't talk that much. I got awards and stuff for being the most quietest kid. And then for those of you who do have siblings, you know, you get challenged a lot. You get dared. And my brother Jimmy, he would dare me to do stuff. And so I did a lot of stuff outside of my comfort zone that I never wanted to do. So a lot of people ask me about this technique, and yeah, I could make this entire channel about art technique, and I will. I'll show you some technique. It's not all or nothing. But for me, so much of my early life was ruled by fear. And for me, at least, I have always been a curious person, even when dared or not. So that's why I hitchhike, that's why I try different techniques, because I'm always interested in those things. So for me, real art, true art, if you really want to go for it. See, like I kind of lost the way here because I'm drawing with white. Is when you create from a place of curiosity. Let's see what happens. And a lot of people, they don't create from a place of curiosity. They create from a place of fear. So when you create from a place of curiosity, then really, you know, a lot of really ugly, bad things are going to happen, and you're going to fail a lot, but a lot of interesting things are going to happen. And if you can divorce yourself from the results, then you're going to have a really good time. And that's what it's about anyways, right? You just want to have a good time. Sometimes you see people win at things and they're really good at things, but they don't look that happy. People ask me about, hey, what do you think about this celebrity or this influencer or this, you know? And I go, what do you want me to say about them? They're like, well, what do you think about them? And I go, do they look happy to you? Do they look happy to you? I mean, a lot of people have made the arguments that this is the worst art that I've ever made in my life, and will I stop doing this kind of thing and draw something for real? And to them I say, no. So now I think I have something here, but I won't know until I reveal it. Black ink. It's not magic ink or anything. I guess it could be magic. That's all it is black ink. And I'm a little bit nervous because I know there's people watching. But also, I like it when you watch. This isn't anything like how I thought it would be. Back to the drawing board. I'm sitting in my...
That was actually pretty cool, like what happened with the ink, and the fact that he's like, yeah, he didn't think it turned out how he wanted it to, and he just started over. Yeah, a lot of people fall in love with it too often. You got to be disassociated. You know, if it doesn't turn out the way you want it to turn out, fucking scrap it and try again. Don't be afraid to just restart. You know. People put time and effort into it, and they try to salvage it even if they don't even like it. So yeah, kudos to him.
Like how I thought it would be. Back to the drawing board. I'm sitting in my uncomfortableness right now, and I'm wondering what went wrong. Well, this really isn't the nicest paper, So now I'm questioning my cheapness. Why did I go with this cheap paper? I should have got better paper. Number two, this would have looked better if I pushed harder. So why didn't I push hard? Why was I so scared? Why was I being so timid with the pushing? But let's experiment. Let's see what happens if I do this. By the way, I've never done this before. I don't know what.
See, like, fucking David Cho, man, he's just like, you learn from your mistakes. A lot of people just don't take the time to learn from their mistakes. Like, in any situation in life, you know, in a relationship or with work or friendships, they don't take time, or even at like sports or competition, they don't take time to like ask themselves like, what did I do wrong, and what can I do next time to make it better? And they just kind of if it doesn't work, they just kind of maybe run away from it instead of facing like, oh, I can be a better person, or I can do better in this certain situation, so that next time I'm faced with this again, then it'll so the next time they're dealt with the similar situation, they can just, you know, tackle it head on. And once you build that skill of being able to learn from your mistakes, then you continually do that. And so your art or your profession, you get continually better in it. So that's very important, is just reflecting. And like even he was doing here, he's trying something new that he's never tried before on camera, just because he wants to.
What this is gonna look like. Hey. Well, that's interesting. That is interesting. There's something already happening here, and I'm just gonna go with it. And instead of trying to use my brain, I'll turn my brain off and just follow the path that's already been set out in front of me. All right, now I'm having fun. I'm having fun right now. Trying not to think too much and just, you know, sometimes, like, obviously you see I'm dressed very colorfully this morning, and yet the paintings seem very emo and very gothic, so my wardrobe betrays me. So I'm not gonna try to make sense of any of what's happening and just let it happen. I could sit here and say I don't care what you think. I care a little bit what you think, but for the most part, I don't care what you think. But I care a little bit. So let's clean our brush so we don't waste this brush, right? They say you can't polish a turd, but is that true? Is that true? Some lipstick on this thing. Maybe this will make more sense if I sign it. Did that fix it? You know what? I'm just gonna be honest with you. Whatever I'm going for this morning, or what I thought I was gonna go for this morning, is not working. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe the hat's on a little too tight. Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Maybe the canvas is wrong. Maybe the canvas is wrong. Maybe I've been focusing so much on this that the canvas should be this. Maybe it should be this. Do you know who was scared yesterday? You guys aren't gonna believe this. You want me to tell you who was scared yesterday? The clown. The sad clown? You mean the clown making these balloons? Yeah. I stole all these balloons from kids yesterday. And then after, I saw the clown guy packing his balloon materials up to get in the car. And everything looks like what it's supposed to look like. That looks like a butterfly. That looks like a bee. This looks like a bunny. And I said, hey, why not give it a bunny face with bee wings and make this ear like this big, and like give them legs with their swords? Why not try stuff different, you know? He said, hey man, I just had a long day with these kids, like, can you please leave me alone? And I said, well, why not just try, like, you know how to obviously manipulate these balloons into doing whatever shapes you want. Why not try to make some like abstract, insane looking, you'll be the guy, you'll be this dude that's unique to yourself. You'll be the one clown that makes balloon animals that look different than everyone else's, right? And he said, leave me alone. No, I want to make something today I don't know what it's gonna look like. I don't know where it's going, but my intent is to blow my own mind. Flowers, please. Is there a story here? A penguin? Why you gotta deconstruct the balloon form, Dave? What was wrong with... Why mess with it? It was perfect already. Was it? Was it? Sitting here challenging that guy. Hey, what?
That's the thing, like, you know, you said it was perfect already, but it's like, whose version of perfect? Why can't he just, like, literally combine them into some sort of, like, chimera looking beast? And he's right about that. It's like, it's all your perception of what perfect is, or what it's supposed to look like. Who says you know, you can't make a penguin with, like, armor? Well, the fucking the guy who made Yu-Gi-Oh! There's literally a character called Penguin Soldier, which is a penguin with a shield and armor and a sword. And so, yeah, fucking art is also creating, but it's also destruction. So sometimes you gotta break stuff down in order to make something anew.
Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't I do it? That's what happens a lot. I meet artists and I meet people and I go, hey, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't I do it? Why don't I do it? How pumped would you be if you went to a party and you got this? Are you effing kidding me? It wasn't about this. It wasn't about that. It was about this. My focus was on the wrong thing the entire time. There was another one.
His creative process, I really like his creative process because he's literally just feeling the moment. He's in the moment. He initially thought he wanted to create a piece on that canvas or that paper, and he started that, and he's just like, this just doesn't feel right. And then he looked around. He kind of took a step back and realized, like, look at all these balloons. And that's how he started the video. He started the video with the balloons and talking about the balloons. And he eventually came full circle to creating on the balloons. And so, yeah, just sometimes you gotta take a step back. Sometimes you're too focused. Sometimes you let your perception of what other people think is going to be good block you from just having fun in your creative process. And so that's what he's doing here. He's just having fun, and he doesn't care if we like it or not. He's just letting himself be himself, and he's just creating and look what came out of it. You may not like it or might like it. I kind of thought it was cool how he just took all the balloons that were everywhere and just kind of combined them into some sort of like weird creature, and then there's faces everywhere on it and markings and stuff like that. So it's like, I like it. And but he started with like some emo piece or gothic piece onto the canvas, and then he turned that into this fun mishmash of animal balloons. So it's kind of cool.
There was another one. Oh, I didn't even do that one. Did I just make myself a new hat? Did that just happen? That just happened. Well, we gotta try it on, right? Oh man, what a wonderful morning. Do you know it's the morning? It's not even nighttime yet, and it's already awesome. You know they say put your thinking cap on? This is my thinking cap for today. I didn't even do anything yet, and I'm already thinking great stuff. You know what? What happens when I put on both? Okay, what are you feeling? This is what I know you're out there. Just send it to me. Is this live? Just send it to me telepathically. What? A house? Okay, yeah. Here we go. House. Chimney? Yes, chimney. Okay, there we go. What? A truck? Okay, here we go. Is that what a truck looks like? The little thing up there? That's a truck, right? Oh, dog. You guys like dogs? Here's a dog. Sitting. Ruff, ruff. Big tail like that. Okay, what else? Oh, the stick figure again. Here's an angry stick figure. I'm not even gonna draw the face and you'll already know. Here we go. What's that? You guys all know that. You know what that means. You know what that means. Hands on hips. Hands on hips means someone's angry. Someone's angry, or you're just really tired hiking up Griffith Park. Is it a full moon tonight, or is it a crescent moon? Who doesn't like chicken McNuggets? There's this one. There's the boot one. And then there's the kind of 8 one. Right? Let's not forget the dipping sauce. It's Kung Pao right there, sweet and sour. So what I just did is draw some shapes, and you're like, that doesn't look that cool. Well, like I said, I lost my way this morning. Obviously, you could see the energy shift. I'm way more excited now that I got my new thinking cap on. So now we're gonna turn this into a piece of fine art. It just went from chicken scratch, scritchy scratch, super sketchy gibberish, and now we're gonna turn it into fine art. How are we gonna do that? Well, the young man who said he wanted this truck, do you ever think about why you want what you want? Oh yeah, because my brother used to drive this, and my dad, and before him, and my grandfather. Oh no, I saw it in a movie. In the movies. In the movies I saw this truck, and that's why ever since I was a kid, this is the do you ever think about why you want what you want? You ever think about that? I want this kind of house. This, because I saw someone this, and it made me this. I want to be this kind of artist. I want to be a comic book artist. I want to be an abstract artist. I want to be this kind of athlete because I saw Michael Jordan, because I saw Michael Jackson, because I saw Mike Tyson, because I saw some Michael do something. You're a poser. You're a poser. But like my friend Lewis told me this morning, now it's your time to be a composer. Do you know how to compose?
What the fuck?
So you're not posing anymore. The way you dress, the things that you want, your style, it's a facade. You're a liar. You're a poser. And now, transform like I just did. You never, ever seen balloon animals like this. Before you're like, oh, there's a bee, there's a bunny. You never seen this ish before. Now it's your turn to be a composer. So how are we gonna compose this? How does this chicken nuggets, dog, house, crescent moon, hands on hips, and truck become a work of art? You just get off on yourself. You trace yourself. You start tracing your own drawing. Then you stop, then you go beep. Let's just make beeps for you all over the place. Beep, boop, bong, bing, bong, boom, boom, ding, dong, ding, bing, bing, bong, boom, ding, bong, bing, bong, boom, boom, bing, doom, boom, bing, boom, ding, doom, doom. Well, what did that do, Dave? It doesn't look any better. You made it look worse. Well, now it's a video game. You guys like mazes? You like crossword puzzles? You like Sudoku? You just go like this. And the game is don't touch the dots and don't go over your own dark line. So you just make little games for yourself within the lines. You go around these boops, you go around these bops, and go bing, bong, ding, dong. It's like ping pong. It's like pinball.
That's what I like about the creative process. Like, if you've ever created art, and art as in like just free art where you know this is not going to see light of day, so you're just having fun, you learn about yourself. You learn about who you are, and you kind of have these epiphanies through art. And even myself, I was like, why am I so serious all the time? It's like while I was creating the art, it's like then I just scratched it all out and threw it away and crumpled up the paper, and then it's like use that. Yeah, it's just like once you start having fun in the art, it's a feeling like no other.
It's like, whoa, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What is happening? Oh, you sure talk a lot, Dave. Yeah, it happens. When I'm in the studio by myself, you think this is a lot? Who are you talking to? Sometimes I talk to my mommy. Sometimes I talk to my daddy. Is it comfortable for you to draw with balloons around your neck and a giant hat on and a hot pink sweatsuit? Why should I take any advice from you? You're wearing a pink jumpsuit right now. Well, I'll double down and say, you should only take advice from people wearing full pink jumpsuits. How about that? Did you ever think about that? So I'll say it again, and I'll sound like a record on repeat. True creativity, true art is when you create from curiosity. Curiosity. Not fear, curiosity. All that other stuff, it's just technique and it looks like a pretty picture, but we can all do that now. Anyone could take a pretty picture. Anyone could do an AI prompt. Anyone could do that. But when you create from curiosity, then you're living! You hear the music? You like my composing? I just turned you from a poser to a composer. And you can get in there. You can get in the weeds, you know? Oh, there's a little white spot there. There's a one there. There's there. It depends. When's the painting done, Dave? When's the painting done? When's the painting done? When's the painting done? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're there. Fine art. Thanks, guys.
It's like Bob Ross, but I'm on acid and lost in a city, and in a city I don't know, and my grandpa won't. Oh my god. It's like Bob Ross, but I'm on acid and lost in a city I don't know, and my grandma won't stop calling. Most of my life, I thought the game was playing to win. When I lived this way, there was always a fear of losing. Play, win, or lose. I have a new game. Play, play, play. Make art, play. That's the mantra today. Yes, sir. That's when you always think there's, life is about winning or losing, then you don't have fun because then you think it's always a competition, which, obviously in some aspects it is, obviously. But sometimes you just got to have fun. And in fun, fun is a very spiritual thing. And when you start having fun, then you tap into that spiritual side of yourself. And then you start creating stuff that's never been seen before. Art is for the fearless. My entire life, I didn't pursue art and didn't respect artists because somehow I got into my own head that artists are ungrateful. They pursue their passion, and that makes them ungrateful instead of those that work hard to get practical jobs. I work hard at the practical things. A's in school, take classes because it looks good for college and all that. I lived in miserable 30 years and ended up a total loser working passionless minimum wage jobs. I don't have skills because I was passionless about everything I'd ever done. Now I'm going for art. I'm more terrified than I've ever been in my life. I could end up homeless. What about AI? What if I'm not good enough? Art is for the fearless, because to become an artist, to be able to shut those scared voices up just to learn, you've got to be fearless. 100%. 100% from zero to artist. Awesome. Let's see what they made. 118 subscribers. I quit streaming on Twitch. My channel trailer. Until dawn. Nice. They're not doing lives.
The reason I'm making this video is to say I'm quitting streaming on Twitch, and instead I'm going to move over to YouTube and start streaming on YouTube. The reason for this
That was a month ago. I haven't seen any lives. There's no lives.
Twitch's bad discoverability, and I'll show you what that means right now. Let's go to browse. Let's do Valorant. Okay, I apparently don't know how to use Twitch. Here, Valorant. So let's click on Valorant. And if I streamed, oh my god, oh my god. Let's say that I wanted to stream Valorant, for instance. I don't really play Valorant, but I've played it before, and let's say I wanted to stream it. First of all, I get an average of like 1 to 2 viewers if I'm lucky. Sometimes I get 0 viewers. So in order for anyone to see me, I would be like at the very bottom of all these people. So no one would actually see that I'm streaming. No one would find my stream. And look how many 1 viewers there are. So I'd probably be around here, but nobody sorts from low to high, I feel like. I didn't even know this was an option. I thought they took it off. That's one reason. The discoverability on Twitch is horrible.
That's the thing. Like with Twitch, yeah, the discoverability is trash. That's why you gotta create content on your streams, clip it, and then put it onto YouTube. And so you funnel your YouTube subscribers and viewers to, or from even from TikTok to your Twitch. Yeah.
Another reason that I'm leaving Twitch is because I just don't use Twitch that much anymore. I just don't really go on Twitch. Here's my Twitch page. I guess I'll show you my Twitch page. And it's full of stuff. It's got these lovely panels, full of all this information, full of what you could expect on the stream, full of these commands for chat. And I test them, they work. Full of emotes, got a bunch of emotes there. But nobody subscribes, so the emotes are pretty much, useless. Got some more emotes, some bits, better TTV, emotes, Franker Faces emotes. There's a lot of fun stuff on Twitch. There really is. The panels, the emotes, I can link these interactive pages. So like, I set this up so that streamers could like say, oh, I want her to wear a purple wig today. I want her to wear a black wig today. I want her to wear a red wig today. I have all these sound effects linked to my Twitch channel. I have all of these events and like things chat can make me do. Look at this one, like put on a wig. For the rest of the stream, I'll wear the wig of your choice. And then you can go down and you can select, like whichever wig or hat you want me to wear. I also have one for hats. So I have a bunch of hats listed and you can tell me like, oh, I want you to wear the Kirby hat today. Or I want you to wear the Pikachu hat today. I have a bunch of stuff like that. You could actually win a game on my channel, but no one even or make me buy a game. There's also predictions. I forgot about predictions. You could will I beat Brunhilde this round? You could win points, and then if you win enough points, you could win a prize. Like a Nintendo Switch digital code, stuff like that. There's all
Damn, she put a lot of work into her page. Damn, kudos.
these features. It's great. It's fantastic. Wow, Twitch is amazing. But if no one can find my channel and I'm not getting an active chat and live viewers, it's all pointless. It's all worthless. It's a waste of time. So that's where I'm at with.
It's not a waste of time. I think the fact that you're trying and you've set up all this and you put care and dedication to your channel, and that I like what I've seen so far. I think that is a good thing, and a lot of people don't even get to that first step. They just try to research everything, and I don't know how she started. I don't know if she started off by doing all this, but she started and she did some streams, and from that she realized like Twitch is not for her. But she wouldn't have come to that realization without streaming on there. You probably could have, because everybody knows Twitch discoverability is trash, but she got to that point by just trying. So kudos.
Twitch, and I've been on Twitch since 2014, so it's kind of hard to say goodbye. Essentially, I'm pretty much done. I'm quitting Twitch. I'm so sad to say it. I've had so many memories in Twitch chat, so many fun times, like the best times of my life I've spent on Twitch. I just can't keep streaming to 0 viewers. Like, it's just not what I want to do. I find it soul crushing, truthfully. But yeah, that's basically where I'm at with streaming on Twitch. I'm switching over to YouTube. There's no panels, there's no channel points, there's no commands in chat. So all of these fun features that I've implemented are missing on YouTube, but at least I'll get viewers, hopefully. Please share your experience if you feel like it.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Throw a subscriber your way, throw a like. 4 days ago, you're doing a lot of things that didn't work. It's not 2014. We were in 2024 first. Light. Why your channel avatar have a lot of light, but in stream looks like a terror movie? I think you're not seeing your own streams. Basic things first. Put a light on your face. Do I have a good light on my face? 116 subs. Who the fuck even is you? My bad. I thought this was known information for years. That's why the best advice everyone gives you is to stream less on Twitch and find out everyone from different platforms. It's true. The faces kill me. Why nobody gave a fuck. I quit Twitch when I got woke. sub, liked, comment. Okay. Hopefully she figures it out.
Jean-Michel Basquiat had endless inspiration. He was the embodiment of artistic flow. And while most artists will never approach anything close to his once-in-a-generation talent, there are a few things you can learn from his work methods that will help you tap into your own creative genius. For example,
A lot of people don't know, but Basquiat was, probably most people can't tell, but like he was poor when he started his artwork career, and so he couldn't even afford canvases. So he started painting on like door frames that he could find just in the street, or somebody was throwing out a door that he wanted. He just took it and started painting on stuff like that. Whatever he could find to paint on, he would paint on.
at the beginning of his career, Basquiat went out and bought two books. Two books that would inform all of his work, right up until his death. The first book was this one, Henry Dreyfus Symbol Source Book. This rare book would end up providing source material for almost all of the 1,500 drawings and 600 paintings that he left behind. His art was filled with symbols, ladders, crowns, crosses, copyrights, and all of them came from this rare book. Many of them are gathered on one page, page 90. A page that almost looks like a dictionary of his whole artistic language. And if you look at the symbol over here, that's the Mandi's symbol. He used this symbol, sadly, to symbolize and prophesize his own death.
Source material.
One of the secrets to staying in flow. Basquiat used source material like he was Jay Dilla sampling records. But source material alone won't automatically give you creativity. You have to learn how to use it the artist's way.
Ultimately, it comes down to taste. It comes down to trying to expose yourself to the best things that humans have done, and then try to bring those things in to what you're doing. I mean, Picasso had a saying, he said, good artists copy.
Great artists steal.
Stealing like an artist means stealing with no judgment. Let your taste make the decisions, not your brain.
Where do the words come from?
Real life books, television.
Yeah, and you just skim them and start including.
No, I mean, when I'm working, I hear them, and I just throw them down.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, things like Punic Wars. I remember that was in one of your.
Oh, that was from a guidebook on Roman history. History of Rome in 5 pages,
And so you snatched a few words from it.
I didn't snatch them,
They caught your.
They caught my eye, and I took them.
The moment you stop judging, should I use this? What would people say? You open yourself up for flow.
Go through. What's this?
Pluto. Based on a drawing that was the first drawing of the moon by Galileo.
Yeah. This looks like an eye.
Yeah. That's the evil eye, the Malocchio.
Oh.
Okay, so you're stealing like an artist now, but how do you become more than just the sum of your influences? How do you make it all make sense? You choose what serves your message. The second book that gave Basquiat his unparalleled God momentum is this one, Flash of the Spirit, a book about African art. This book was key in helping him zero in on his message. You see, the reason most artists lose flow when they're working is because when they get stuck, they have no guiding ideology to get them out of their tough spots. And because they don't know what they're trying to communicate to the world, any roadblock could stop them in their tracks for days.
Overthinking, staring at a blank canvas, artist paralysis.
That's what happens when you don't have an overarching message in your work. Basquiat did.
I think there's a lot of people that are neglected in art. I don't know if it's who made the paintings or what, but I don't know. I know black people are never really portrayed realistically, or not even portrayed in modern art enough.
And because he had a message, art came out of him that much more effortlessly. It's not just that he had source material, it's that he had a place to channel it.
Is there any anger in you? Any anger in your
Of course there is. Yeah, of course there is.
Talk about that. Tell me what the anger is. What are you angry
His work became a commentary on the underrepresentation of black art in the established art world.
This looks like a skull.
That's a casco.
A what?
Casco.
A Gasco? What's that?
Casco. Casco. C-A-S-C-O.
When you have a message, art comes out of you easily. But a message, tons of source material, and your newfound audacity to steal like an artist is still not enough. You'll never have that Basquiat limitless inspiration and flow if you don't master speed. The day Basquiat met Andy Warhol, he ran back home and painted a self-portrait of both of them from a Polaroid his idol had just taken. And then he ran back to the restaurant to give it to him as a gift. The paint was still fresh. Warhol couldn't believe it. All he kept repeating was,
"Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. He's faster than me."
Oh, God, you're so fast and these are so great. And that was the beginning of everything between Andy and Jean-Michel.
When one of the most prolific artists of all time is jealous of your speed, you know you're doing something right.
Speed.
Work quickly, like a demon. You should work so fast that you don't have time to think. The brain is your enemy in art. Like they say in the music industry, keep the tape rolling. But if you really want to become the legendary artist that you have the potential to be, if you really want that endless inspiration, you have to understand that most of the flow that you will have while making art will come from all the things you were doing when you were not making art.
What?
In between your creative sessions, while everyone else is busy consuming regurgitated content on social media, you should go offline. And you should go deep. Most people, they need to rev up when they sit down to work. They need hours before they could finally get into the groove. That's because they haven't been feeding their minds during their downtime.
I never went to an art school. I failed the art courses that I did take in school. I just looked at a lot of things, and that's what I think I learned about art, by looking at it.
Go to museums.
Yeah, that's a Roman belt buckle. It's from a drawing that I did at the Metropolitan. I went over to the Metropolitan Museum and I did the drawing of the buckle, and I came back with it and I put it right there.
Oh, well, that's kind of a slow process.
I'm a slow person.
The process may seem slow to an outsider, but that slow process is what makes you outrageously fast when you get back into the studio.
Study, memorize, and internalize.
Make that your mantra, and those ideas you consume will marinate inside of you and eventually become part of your artistic DNA. Suddenly, the oddest things will come out of you at the most unexpected times. And it's all because you made yourself this well of inspiration. You became a student of life, ready at any time to express your genius.
For more tips on growing your creativity, listen to the Make Art Not Content podcast
on Spotify and Apple Music.
Prince was a creativity machine. He might be the most prolific musician that ever lived. And even though you may never reach even a fraction of his output in your own lifetime, here are 6 lessons.
Yeah, apparently, like, Prince has hundreds, if not thousands, of songs that are unreleased, like kept in like some sort of vault.
That you can extract from his creative process that will give you an edge over everyone else.
Lesson number 1, work fast.
Back in those days, people didn't make albums on computers. You had to rent a studio for a few $100s a day if you wanted to record music. And the studio came with an engineer. In Prince's case, God help that poor engineer.
If you did anything that slowed Prince down, you were out of there.
That's why Prince preferred working with women in the studio. They worked with zero friction. And zero friction equals speed.
He'd come in and I'd hand him the bass and he'd play the bass. And he'd put that down and then he'd either go to the keys or he'd pick up the guitar.
Susan Rogers witnessed him making a song a day for 5 years. Songs like Kiss and Sign of the Times.
He'd play all the parts, sing his lead vocals, sing his backing vocals, add the final stuff. I'd be mixing it as the song was coming together. And usually a day later, it would be done.
We could do, and we did do, an album in a week.
And all he had when he came in was lyrics that he had jotted down in his hotel room.
He came in with stationery from La Park with the lyrics on it.
And he would emerge with a fully written, fully recorded, and fully mixed song by the end of it.
He'd jump on the keyboards, you know, guitar. It was just funky, you know. It's like, man, it's like, how do you come up with this?
Plays all the instruments on it.
He played everything and he mixed it too.
And he mixed it
in one day.
Jesus.
Everything was basically one take.
Prince was in constant flow.
He was like a funnel. It was as if somebody was pouring these songs into him and they would just continue to come out the other end.
He raised the bar for how fast you could create a hit song.
I've spoken with some of his engineers who worked with him later in his career as well, and we all say the same thing.
Shit, dude. I'm really balding. I'm really getting that age, man.
You know, after Prince, you try to not feel disdain for a person who needs to take all day to do a guitar part. You're thinking, why do you have a record deal?
The other woman engineer that worked with Prince was Peggy McCreary. She did Controversy, 1999, and Purple Rain.
I mean, we did a song all in one day. Some of them were huge hits.
This brings us to
lesson number 2, become a finisher.
Peggy McCreary was right there in the room when Prince recorded the biggest song of 1984, the biggest song of his career, in only 2 days.
You know, like we cut When Doves Cry, just the two of us. It was nice to watch that process. He usually started with a drum track, and he did with that one, and then he started building raging guitar and the raging synths and everything. It seemed so overproduced to me. It was the last night we were mixing it. As the night went on, things started coming out. And he kind of unproduced it, if you can possibly do that. And then the last thing he did is he punched that bass out and he smiled at me and he said, ain't nobody gonna believe I do this. And he did.
He stuck with one idea while it was burning hot until it was finished. But how do you do that? How do you develop that kind of tenacity? Well, you'll need to internalize and live by this next lesson.
Lesson number 3. Stop trying to be a perfectionist.
Do you remember they used to spend a week on a fucking snare sound? It's like, give me a break. And I literally had 5 minutes to get a drum sound. He taught me another side. You know, that little picky, cocained out shit doesn't matter. If it's a good song, you get it down, it's a good song.
Don't overthink things. Keep it moving. In the overproduced 80s, this was unheard of.
In that era, everybody was kind of doing the sterile music where you do 20 takes of one thing, and he didn't work like that. A lot of times he would take the first take, even though there were maybe mistakes. You go, oh, I know I can do it better. Let me perfect it. He said, no, he wants the feeling. There was something about the first emotion that he wanted, and he'd mix into it, and you go, oh.
Prince knew that leaving the mistakes in was also leaving the emotions in.
He himself could not have functioned if he'd been obsessing over every little detail. His work was gesture sketches. His music would come out like a sneeze. It was just bam, 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 bam.
He understood that the most important aspect of the creative process.
Every era has its own way of looking at life. In the 1500s, Shakespeare described the world as a stage, where we're just actors playing out our roles. In the 1800s, Charlotte Bronte talked about life as a battle, an ordeal that we have to fight and suffer through. And in the 1900s, Winston Churchill said that life is a test, and this world, a place of trial. Each is a different way of understanding the world, but to be honest, I've always felt that they were missing something, because basically, they're looking at life as something we have to endure through an endless series of problems we face over and over again. And if that's the story you keep telling yourself, little by little, life will come to feel like something you want to escape from. But what if you looked at life as a game? Filmmaker and YouTuber Dr. Jonathan Chu, creator of the channel Engine, describes the infinite possibilities that open up to you when you imagine your life as an open-world video game, something you play for the joy and the love of it. With one simple shift in thinking, you can completely change the experience of your life. The world becomes your game map, and wherever you decide to go, whatever challenges you're facing now, you can choose to approach it with a sense of play. So how do you do that? Let me show you. In the show Rick and Morty, Rick Sanchez is a brilliant scientist, a genius, but he's reckless. He takes all kinds of crazy risks. His grandson Morty, on the other hand, is not a genius. He's a good-natured boy, but often too trusting and naive. The show explores their absurd and fantastic adventures as they travel to new worlds and other dimensions. There's an episode where Rick takes Morty to play a futuristic video game on an alien planet. It's way more advanced than any game on Earth. It's a strange game called Roy. His headset comes on and, in an instant, he wakes up in a completely different body, in a room he doesn't recognize. A woman walks in. "Roy, what's wrong?" "I had a nightmare. I was with an old man and he put a helmet on me." "Well, don't worry. It was just a dream." And so he grows up and he goes to school. He becomes the star of his football team. He falls in love.
This is like the wildest fucking Rick and Morty moment. Like one of the wildest. It's crazy.
Years pass as he raises his own family. Soon he has to deal with the reality of supporting them. He goes to work at a carpet store, but his heart isn't really in it. One day he's diagnosed with cancer. "I'm not ready to die," he says. After a long, painful treatment, he comes home. By some miracle, he heals. He's even healthy enough to go back to work. At the age of 55 years old, he steps up to reach for one of the carpets, something he's done thousands of times before. But this time, he loses his footing. He falls to the floor, and his life comes to an end. Game over. The helmet comes off, and Morty realizes it was all a game. And yet, he lived a whole other lifetime within this game. It felt so real, so immersive, he had no idea he was even playing it. "Where's my wife?" Morty says. Rick teases him. "You beat cancer and then you went back to work at the carpet store? Boo." Now it's Rick's turn to go into the game, but he plays it exactly the opposite way. There's a real excitement as he takes crazy chances within the game. A crowd begins to form. "Hey, this guy's taking Roy off the grid. He doesn't even have a social security number for Roy." It's a funny and thought-provoking scene because it raises an important question. How would you approach your life if you knew it was a game? Would it give you a greater sense of play? Or would you play it safe in one small corner of the game? Rick and Morty each take radically different...
That's how we're living life right now. We're just very playing it safe, and a lot of people don't even leave their town or city to really experience what the rest of the world is like. Really makes you think, like, you know, what if you got a terminal illness that says you only have 6 months to a year left to live? What would you do with it? And it's like, okay, you say all those things, and then it's like, okay, why aren't you doing those right now? And obviously, you know, we have responsibilities, we have work, we have all this, but you can still do that to a degree. So it's just your limiting beliefs of what you can accomplish that probably prevents you from living the life of your dreams. Maybe it's fear also. Maybe it's just you feel like you have too many responsibilities, so it's like you feel like you're held down by your family, friends, pets, work, and you feel like you're chained to this life. But it's your life, man. Live it the way you want to live it. You only have one chance at this. So screw what everybody else thinks, man. Just do you and take the chances. I think that's what the main thing is take the chances. I know a lot of people, even for myself, like I thought like, oh, what if I did this? And it's like, oh, I don't know how they would feel, or I don't know if I could do it, kind of thing. So it's like, screw that inner voice, which is like kind of holding you back, because that's your brain is like meant for survival, and everything that is putting your life on the line, aka like, you know, spending money to go to this thing, this festival that you really want to go to, spending money to travel, doing this dangerous sport, spending time, or maybe leaving your job to pursue a passion. It's all risk, and your brain's like, we can't take those risks, because that's just how your brain is operated, especially how the world is today. It's our brain is kind of manipulated to think that that's what we need, is be a good little boy, go to your job, pay the taxes to the government, don't step out of your little box, because that's not what you're supposed to do. And people live their whole lives without living their whole lives. It's sad.
Different approaches. And to be fair, a reasonable one has to lie somewhere in the middle. Because playing it too safe means you're never really living your potential. But taking too many risks also stops you from building the stability you need. We have to balance our need for security with the courage to go after the things we want. But before we go deeper into what this means for you, I think it's important to look at some of the common myths people have around this idea. Because before you can reframe your life as a game, you need to understand some of the limiting beliefs that can stop you from making that shift. Here's a common myth. Life is too hard and too painful to treat like a game. You can't play around, because if there's one thing life is not, it's a game. You have to be absolutely serious about it. To answer this point, let's look at the most serious situations you can imagine, where it's a matter of life and death. I'm talking about real-life disaster scenarios where some people live and others don't. One of the most incredible examples comes from the story of Joe Simpson and Simon Yates. In 1985, they climbed to the top of the Ciula Grande Mountain in the Peruvian Andes. It's about 21,000 feet high. As they were making their way down, Joe fell and broke his right leg. But it wasn't just broken, it was so completely shattered that his calf bone had driven through his knee joint. The most horrifying thoughts began to fill his mind. That's it, my life is over. They were completely alone on a snow-covered mountain, with no other people in sight. They couldn't call for help. Joe knew there was no way his friend Simon could carry him down. It was a 19,000-foot drop to the bottom. Food and water were running out. If they didn't get down fast, neither would survive. Most people would have panicked or given up, but Joe and Simon came up with a plan. They looked at their tools. They had 2 ropes, each 150 feet long. If they tied them together, it would become a 300-foot rope with a knot in the middle. In theory, Joe could tie himself to one end and Simon to the other. If he dug an anchor point into the mountain, Simon could then lower Joe down the length of rope, where he could stand on his good unbroken leg. Simon could then climb down to meet him. If they did this over and over again, then theoretically, they could make it down the mountain. They decided to turn the rest of their journey into a game, putting all their focus on the next ledge, the next slope, one step at a time, as if they were solving a puzzle. Joe said that a pattern of movements developed after my initial wobbly hops, and I meticulously repeated the pattern. Each pattern made up one step across the slope, and I began to feel detached from everything around me.
Whew, I did not know about this story and how I didn't even know this movie. I feel like watching the movie right now. But damn, that's actually really cool. Yeah, a lot of people in that situation would just give up and say, I'm done. Life's done. Life's over. But you know how I said your brain is made to kind of help you from surviving? Your brain's going to figure out every way to help you survive in this situation too.
I thought of nothing but the patterns. This shift in mindset turned his struggle into a kind of dance, a game that freed him from the terror of what he had to do. And it's something we see with many people who survive disaster. Lawrence Gonzalez, the author of the book Deep Survival, writes that countless survivors have reported the same thing. By developing a pattern and then fixing on nothing but making the pattern perfect, they were able to get out of seemingly impossible situations. And so Joe Simpson had come to accept his situation, to reach the stage of playfulness. But Joe and Simon ran into a huge problem. They reached a point where Simon had unknowingly lowered Joe off a cliff, where he had nothing to stand on. As he hung helplessly in the air, neither of them had any idea how far the drop was to the next ledge. Joe had no way of climbing back up the rope. Simon couldn't pull him up, and so they stayed there for more than an hour. Both were now in incredible danger. Simon knew that if he tried to climb down, they would both fall off the mountain. So there was only one thing he could do. With a heavy heart, he took out his knife. He decided to cut the rope between them, knowing it would send Joe to his doom. In an instant, Joe dropped and disappeared off the side of the cliff. And yet somehow, Joe was still alive. He fell more than 200 feet and landed on a small ledge inside a crevasse. But when he looked up and saw that there was no way to climb out, his only choice was to go down even deeper into the darkness and hope that there was some other way out. I really struggled to make this choice. I was so scared of going deeper. But the only other option was to just sit there blindly hoping things might get better. And I just knew it wasn't going to. And so down he went, deeper into the unknown. Gonzalez writes that the best survivors spend almost no time getting upset about the things they've lost. They don't waste time drowning in negativity when things go badly. Why? Because they're looking for a way to turn even the most horrifying situations into a game. This helps them stay focused on the next step they have to take and to accept the things they can't control. Unbelievably, Joe found a path that led him outside, into a beautiful sunny day. But now, he had to make the long, grueling hike back to camp, and his broken leg had only gotten worse. Even here, he continued to think of his situation as a game. He would look at a rock in the distance and think, I bet I can get there in 20 minutes. He timed his movements, and if he got there in 18 minutes, he was hysterically happy. But even if he was a few minutes late, he just kept on going. By all logic, Joe should have died on that mountain. He spent days without food and almost no water, crawling and hopping with a broken leg through miles of ice and snow. And yet, he lived. When Joe looks back on his harrowing journey, it fills him with a sense of amazement and gratitude. When you reframe the problems in your life as a game, it gives you the resilience to keep on going, even in the most desperate situations. And it's something you can apply to your life right now. Maybe you're studying for a tough exam. Maybe you're looking for a new job. Or maybe you're struggling to support your family. Whatever it is, you can reimagine your situation as a game where you put your focus only on the next move you need to make. Ask yourself, what's the simplest step I can take right now to move closer to where I need to be?
It's all about that first step, right? It's all about the next step. Don't think about years down the road, but like, oh, I want to build this company to be this big, this big. It's like, okay, what do you want this company to be about? Or what do you want this business to be about? And it's like, okay, what's the first thing that I need to do for this? Okay, make a website or something. You make the website. Okay, now I need clients. So then you start making ads or reaching out. And it's like, just think in the next step. Don't think about 3 steps away. Don't think of 10 steps away. Just think about that next step. And if you haven't started, then think about that first step. And the sooner you take that first step, the sooner you take the next step, then the sooner you can take the step after that. Or if you realize it's not for you, then you can take your step back and figure out which other next step or which other first step I need to take to reach my goals or whatever I want to do in life.
Here's another myth. People don't want challenge. That's why they follow the path of least resistance. Obstacles and adversity make everyone miserable. If you could somehow take away everyone's problems, they would instantly become happy. Here's what's wrong with that.
No, everybody needs obstacles. If you don't have obstacles and challenges in life, you end up actually worse off. You end up unhappy. You end up depressed because you need those challenges. It's like, you know, if you have a puzzle in front of you, you're stimulated. You want to figure out how to solve this puzzle. And same thing with life. You know, when you face a challenge, you can whimper and, you know, shy away, and you can hide away from the challenge and not face it. But it's like you don't become a better person. You don't become a better version of yourself. So facing these challenges, facing these obstacles, it's important because with that, you actually grow. And that's actually, like, I wish I had more obstacles in my life. And I'm facing obstacles and problems right now, which I'm dealing head on. It's important to face these head on and not run away from them.
Let's look at what is arguably the most popular video game of all time, Tetris. It sold 520 million copies worldwide and is considered by many to be the most timeless video game ever made. But let me ask you a question. Why does Tetris have all of these different kinds of blocks? Seriously, why so many? Wouldn't the game be a lot easier if there was only one type of block? And wouldn't it be even easier still if we made that one block fill the whole length of the screen? That way you'd win each and every time. You could do that, but no one would ever play that game. Winning it would feel hollow and unsatisfying. Why? Because we need challenge. The human mind is uniquely designed to solve problems. We know this because there's an unbroken chain from this moment that connects you to the very first human beings in which people have solved complex problems one after another. From making fire.
Solving these problems, I feel like, is what gives life value. Even if, you know, you're working, if you're engaged in your work and you're problem solving and it's something you enjoy doing, like the type of work, then you'll figure it out and you actually love it. But if you're just not really solving any problems in life, then I feel like you're wasting your life, honestly.
Building shelter, growing food, to harnessing electricity. Every technological advancement we enjoy today, we have precisely because of a need to overcome adversity. The English author and philosopher Alan Watts captured this same basic insight with this thought experiment. Imagine that every night you could dream any dream you wanted, and that you had the power within one night to dream an entire lifetime. Naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could imagine. And after several nights of several lifetimes of total pleasure each, you'd say, well, that was pretty great. But sooner or later, you'd get bored. Your dreams would become too predictable. And so you'd say, let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something's going to happen to me and I have no idea what it's going to be. And you would love that. And you'd come out of it and say, wow, that was a close call, wasn't it? And then you'd get more and more adventurous. You'd make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream, until finally, you would dream exactly where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. Our biggest mistake is in thinking that the perfect life is one where we have no problems, no difficulties, and nothing to solve. Because obstacles are a necessary part of every game worth playing. They're a vital part of life. When you understand this, you can't look at things like failure, adversity, or loss in the same way. You stop seeing them as some terrible punishment that happens only to make your life miserable. Instead, you begin to realize that every hardship in your life is there to move you forward in your growth as a human being. Without them, your personal evolution would be impossible. So what do? You follow your dream. You sign up for the class you've always wanted to take. You start the business you've always wanted to start. You ask out the attractive stranger you've had a crush on. You take that chance because this is the great adventure of your life. In those moments when you step to the edge of what you think are your limits, when you genuinely aren't sure if you'll succeed or not, those are the moments you're living most intensely what you were truly meant to do. It's where the universe offers its most powerful lessons. It's what it means to follow your bliss. And in this beautiful collaborative game of life, the paths you can take are limitless. This, I think, is the whole reason we're here. It's not that we're actors on a stage. It's not that life is some battle we have to endure or a test we have to suffer through, even if it sometimes feels that way. Life is an experience we co-create with the universe. It's a game we get to play together, with the people we love, with friends old and new. It goes beyond conventional ideas of winning and losing because life is not a zero-sum game. It's an infinite one, where the best players trust that life will equip you with everything you need to navigate and overcome every one of its obstacles, to unleash the dream that lives within you. The best of us approach life with a sense of play and know that we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So now that we've seen how envisioning your life as a game can unlock incredible untapped potential within you, you might be wondering, how do I play it? What are some strategies I can use in my own game? That is what we'll look at in the next video, where I'll offer some powerful tools you can use to help manifest your dream life. Once that video is ready, you'll see it appearing on the left side of the screen. If it's not there yet, it means I'm still working on it, but I think you'll love the video on the right side of the screen. And I would absolutely love it if you press the like button.
Next video, Modern Intuitionist. I like it. I like it a lot.
On this account. He thought he turned off his laptop.
So what the hell is this all about? This video is about levels of thinking. It is theoretical, which is fascinating, and it also has colorful jokes. I use this diagram a lot in my videos because it helps explain some of the wild things that people say and do. It's based on the work of several researchers. I'm trying to make it easier to read for a wider audience. This is my interpretation of a model of consciousness that I studied. It includes quadrants, levels, lines, states, and types. Today I'm talking about levels. I want to make a big, long video.
Damn. Miyamoto Musashi.
Miyamoto Musashi, the renowned Ronin and philosopher, had a lot to say about overthinking. His teachings focused on controlling our thoughts, and who better to learn from than a guy who constantly faced swordsmen trying to get him. He had to master clearing his mind of any useless thoughts quickly. In this video, you'll discover how to apply Musashi's strategy to fix your overthinking, improve mental health, and boost focus and productivity. You can start right away, and I encourage you to stick around until the end to catch all the important lessons that could make a difference in your life. But before you can fix your overthinking, you need to figure out what's causing it. Musashi had some great insight into this. He said, "Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye." What he meant is that you need to be real with yourself and look inward to identify the root of your mental struggles. It's about going beyond surface-level thoughts and diving into your deepest fears and insecurities, the ones that spark overthinking. When you do this, you'll find clarity. Musashi knew that understanding what's beneath the surface is key to overcoming overthinking. By acknowledging your inner fears, you can begin to address them and move forward. You must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain. This gem from Musashi speaks to the value of being flexible and open-minded. Overthinking often occurs when we become rigid, fixated on finding the perfect solution. Musashi's advice is straightforward. Be adaptable, accept that there's more than one way to solve a problem, and let go of the anxiety that comes from perfectionism. We often feel like our lives are mapped out.
All right, I'm gonna take a break right here. This is it for today. Just gotta go do something else for a little bit. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. The whole 0 people in chat right now and the whole 0 people watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Peace.